Hi guys, welcome back to Spelling and Word Study. My name is Mrs. Rhodes and I'm here to get you started on Unit 35, the NG digraph. Please take a second to gather your materials. You will need this red book open to page 215. You'll also need some colorful pens, markers, or crayons. Remember, whatever I mark up on my board, you should be marking on your page. Please save room for a key as well. All right, for several weeks now, we have been learning about R-controlled vowels. Well, we are done with that for now, and we are going to circle back to something called a digraph. If you remember, a digraph is two letters that come together to make a whole new sound. So C and H come together to make the ch digraph. S and H come together to make the sh digraph, and C and K come together to make the k digraph. Well, our new digraph this week is NG, and when we put the N and G together, they don't say ng. Instead, they say okay? Now that NG digraph only shows up at the end of a word or a syllable. You will never see that NG combination at the beginning of a word. So let's start by reading our list. As we do, use your ears to listen for that sound at the end of each word, and use your eyes to look for that NG pattern. Please repeat after me. Bang, hang, hung, king, long, lungs, ring, sing, song, wing. Did you hear that sound at the end of each word? Great. So what I'd like you to do now is choose a color. And the first thing we're going to talk about is that ANG pattern. Notice one vowel always shows up before the NG. When that vowel is an A, the A is going to make a long sound. B, A, B, A, 3 sounds, 4 letters. Please go ahead and draw a box around the A and G in the word bang. Okay, you'll see that pattern again right here in the word hang. A, hang, like I hang my wet towel in the bathroom. Okay, that's all we have for the ANG pattern. But over here, I want you to draw a red box and remind yourself that that red box represents ANG, and that ANG is going to have a long vowel sound. The A is going to say its name. All right, let's choose a second color. And this time, I want to draw your attention to the UNG pattern. We see that at the end of the word hung. Notice this time the U is making a short vowel sound. It doesn't say oo or u, it says hung. We see that again in the word lungs. There's that short U. And that's it. So over here, blue box equals UNG. And this time, we're going to have a short vowel sound. Okay, choose a third color. And this time, let's look at the I. We see it before NG in the word king. Notice the I is going to be short here. We see that chunk again in ring. We see it again in sing. And we see it again in wing. This is a really helpful pattern to know because, as you can see, it shows up in a lot of words, but it's also a very common verb ending. walking, jumping, singing, playing. They all end with that ing in pattern. Over here, green box equals ing, and that is also going to make a short vowel sound. Okay, one more. We've talked about the A, the U, and the I. So here's another vowel we know is the O. Here it is in the word long. Again, we have a short O sound, the ah sound. And then we see it in song. So orange box equals ONG, and that is also going to make a short vowel sound. All right, how many vowels do we have in our English alphabet? 5, right? We've talked about A, I, O, and U. There's one more vowel, and that is E. But in our language, you are never going to see this pattern. You might see a word that has ENG in it, in a word like English, but you're never going to see that eng pattern. It just doesn't exist. Okay, so if you're trying to spell a word and you're like you're probably going to want to use that long A. Okay, ENG is not a thing. So just as a quick review, notice where we find that NG, always at the end of a word or the end of a syllable. Notice it always comes after one vowel, not a vowel team, but one vowel. If that vowel is A, it's going to take on a long A sound. If that vowel is U, I, or O, it's going to take on a short vowel sound, I, ah. Okay, did you notice that one of our words this week has a suffix? Remember, a suffix is something that we add to the end of a word. It could be one letter or more than one letter. Yeah, we have the suffix S right here at the end of lungs. That S suffix reminds us that this word is a plural. So instead of talking about one lung, we are talking about 2 or more lungs. Okay, so I want you to circle that suffix, and down below, pink circle equals a plural suffix. Okay, something we add on to the end of the word to show that we mean more than one. We've spent a lot of time this year talking about plurals. We know that we usually add an S, sometimes we add an ES, sometimes we change the word altogether to make it plural. We might change tooth to teeth or child to children. But this week, we're going back to the basics. We're just adding S to mean more than one. All right, let's take a second to talk about our words. So the word bang has 2 different parts of speech. It can be a noun if we use it to mean a loud noise. So for instance, I heard a loud bang when the door slammed. That would be a thing. It could also be used as a verb, an action word. Okay, if you bang your knee on the table, you're hitting it in a strong way. So for bang, I'm also going to write hit hard, right? If you bang something, you hit it hard. Might be your body part, might be a door, but if you bang it, you hit it hard. Okay, our next word is hang. That's a verb. I think you know what that means, right? It's when you take an object and you let it dangle. So maybe you hang your wet towel on a hook. Maybe you hang your shirt on a hanger. Maybe you hang ornaments on your Christmas tree. It just means you put something in the air and let it dangle. Okay, hung is also a verb, but it is the past tense of hang. It means the same exact thing. It just means that I already did it. So now I hang my wet towel. Yesterday I hung my wet towel. Now I hang my coat on the rack. This morning I hung my coat on the rack. Okay, means the same thing, but this is what we call the past tense. A king is a person. It is a man who rules a country or an empire. Long is an adjective. It's a describing word. If something is long, that means it takes up a lot of space. Takes up a lot of space. Or takes up a lot of time. Okay? So if you have long hair, it takes up a lot of space on the back of your head and shoulders. If you wear a long dress, it takes up a lot of space because it covers your whole body. A long train is going to take up a lot of space on the tracks. So that's one meaning. But long can also describe a chunk of time. Like, I had to wait a long time at the dentist's office, or it took me a long time to finish my homework. So that is a describing word. We use it to describe all different things. Okay, lungs are nouns. You have 2 lungs in your chest. Every time you breathe in, your lungs fill up with air. They're like balloons. Every time you breathe out, your lungs deflate. They get smaller. So your lungs are used by your body to collect air and store it. Okay, a ring is a noun. If we talk about a piece of jewelry that you wear, that would be, there's my diamond ring. That would be one type of ring. But we can also use that as a verb, right? When you ring something, you make noise. You ring a bell. You ring a doorbell. The phone rings when somebody calls you. So ringing has something to do with making noise. Sing is also a verb. It's something we do with our voice. We sing a song. Speaking of, here's song. A song is a noun. Now, it's not the kind of noun that you could draw or touch. It's not a concrete noun, but it's still a thing, right? You sing a song. And then the last word is wing, and that is also a noun. A bird has 2 wings that help it fly. An airplane also has wings that help it fly. So something that sticks out of the body of a plane or the body of a bird and helps it fly. Okay, the last thing I want to talk about with you today is I want to talk about suffixes again very quickly because I want you to notice that when we have a word like hang, which is a verb, we can change its meaning slightly by adding a suffix. So we could add the S. My brother always hangs his towels over the stair rail. Or I could add an ing suffix, hanging. I am hanging up my coat right now. What I want you to notice is that when I add a vowel suffix like ing, I don't have to do any doubling because that ng is 2 consonants. Think back to what we learned a few weeks ago. We learned that if a verb ends with 1 vowel and 1 consonant, then I have to double that consonant before I add ing. But that is not going to be the case this week because all of our verbs end with 2 consonants. Okay, so we don't have to worry about doubling anything before we add the ing. We don't have to double anything before we add ed. I do want to warn you though that we have lots of irregular verbs this week, which means when we change them to the past tense, they're not going to sound the same. So now I hang my coat. We wouldn't say I hanged my coat. We'd say I hung my coat. Now I sing a song. We wouldn't say yesterday I singed a song. We'd say yesterday I sang a song. Okay, so just watch out for that as well. We have lots of irregular verbs this week. All right, that's all I have for you. Good luck, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.